Hey, what's going on? You can't start a YouTube video these days without kind of doing something dramatic like dropping a box that I've opened and I can't really get everything back in. Or, you know, you gotta like have a beverage, maybe a coffee montage. Because, hey, that's YouTube. What this is a box from Small Rig who are sponsoring this video. The reason why? We are going to build out the ultimate vlogging rig for the Sony ZV-E10. We have a microphone, we have a light, we have a handle, which is incredibly useful, and I'll show you why in a bit. This is probably one of the most useful things you can get for any camera, let alone the Sony ZV-E10. This is a cage, and this is... everything will be broken. This is, wow, this is a tabletop tripod that is incredibly stiff and strong. Man, this thing is a beast. It's kind of got that Arca Swiss clamp. Hang on, Allen key, because the Allen key will allow us to loosen these. Anyway, just let's get to the rest of the stuff here. Top handle, that will go on last. This is a light that we're going to mount, and obviously we're going to put on an external mic, because external mics make all the difference when it comes to your audio quality. Because remember, here's the thing, people see with their ears as well as their eyes, and they hear with their eyes as well. No, they just see with their ears. Remember that one. Think about it. So let's get the cage out. Do we need a knife? Because this is the other YouTube thing. Everybody needs a knife to unbox stuff. No, because I've kind of opened this one already. We don't need a knife. So here is the cage for the Sony ZV-E10. Now, what a cage actually does is, well, it's incredibly useful because it gives you mounting point, it gives the camera more rigidity and more structure, and it's just a little bit more secure. You have a bigger grip. It's actually a very similar surface. That's what's currently on the Sony ZV-E10. And that's essentially it. So we have more mounting points for a tripod or whatever you're going to put it on, which we're going to put it on the other tripod in a minute. So let's get this on. The installation of these cages is fairly simple, and you also get little few mounts and screws and all of that. Now the thing here is these also tie into the other Small Rig ecosphere, so you could get handles or anything else here, little cold shoe mounts or whatever. You can just all screw them in here, which is a nice touch as well, so you have extra functionality. So now let's get this on. Let's not get this on, because you got to take off the lens, alrighty? Now, for me, I know some people will go, but what if I want to take my cage off? Generally, I think when the cage goes on, you shouldn't really be taking it off. So let's get this on. Let's protect the sensor. And that's it, it's on. So let's get our lens back on to keep the dust away from the sensor. Twist. Now, obviously this is going to fall out. So what we need to do is take our little magnetic thumb screw thing, which is amazing, really useful to have this on. I know you probably lose it, but it's wedged in there, it can't really fall out. We screw this on nice and tightly. This goes into a 1/4 inch thread. And don't forget, you have all of these other mounting points here as well. So you're not just losing the tripod hole. So that's on there nice and tight. And instantly now, the camera's got a little bit more weight, which is point number one. And that also helps with the stabilization. And it just feels a lot more solid in the hand. So that's a good thing. And the grip, first impressions of the grip here are, it is ginormous. It's kind of similar to what I have on the FX3. It just like, this is not going to fall out of your hand. The grip that's on the Sony ZV-E10 is fine, but something like this just, and it feels really good. I want to show you guys the handle here. And then once we take this rig out, okay, we need a knife. YouTube, we need a knife. Once we take this rig out, we're going to kind of see the benefit of what having a handle can actually do for you. So, YouTube unboxing, knife, yay. Opening this, we have a nice box, pull this open, and we have our top handle. Small handle, but it has got huge benefits. So there's a couple of different mounting screws here. We can put these in. And because there's two, this isn't really going to twist, which is very, very useful. Now at the back of this here, we also have a cold shoe mount where we can put something else on, maybe like you've got a wireless mic or anything else that needs it. So we can get this on. Very, very simple just to screw on. It is, I swear. I'm just awkward. So let's get that So that is on there pretty solid, and we can give these an extra tighten here, and I need a bigger Allen key, which is not that one. There's a hex spanner, Vic. See, smaller, think of everything. Except maybe for me, how to get stuff out of a box, because you know. Come out of the box! Let's do a really YouTube thing. Let's just like slice this. Yeah, look at that, baby. Benchmade. And then we have our handle on it. This thing is like rock solid. So we have an extra point here. Again, we can put something on here, which I'm going to take you guys through as well in a minute. And we have a nice little release here, which is extra security. So we're kind of getting there with our cage. The next thing I want to take a look at here is this Vibe P80 Light, because you never know when you have a light. Would you leave it mounted on here all of the time? Probably not, but it's something good to have in the bag, because those low light situations, even though the Sony ZV-E10 is an APS-C camera and it does okay in low light depending on the lens that you have, having a light in the bag, especially one that's portable, is a good thing. Let's hit our power button, and there we go. So light is on. We can change the brightness. We can change the temperature. Look at this. I didn't know it did this. So if we press the mode and the power button, we can change the color. This is a really nice touch. So we can go HSV, we can go through the full spectrum of colors, which is a really, really nice touch to have. And then those special effects, 2 buttons. So we've got a cop one. What else have we got? We've got this, which is just cycling through all the colors. So we've got all of these little bonus features to have, which is a nice thing to have. I need an adult. Do we have any adults here? No? Okay. Let's just rip stuff open because we don't keep the boxes, Vic, right? Right. So, blah, 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 blah. We have this thing, which is, if you don't know what this thing is, this essentially is the microphone. But the furry thing is an actual wind muff, windsock, dead cat, dead kitten. And that filters out the wind. So if you're out in a windy environment, this is going to kind of keep you sound so the whole audio doesn't screw up. Because of the type of mount this is, it's not going to fit in here with the handle. Now, not everybody's going to use a handle, but it is really useful. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our light on the side here, and I'll explain how in a sec. And then we're going to get our mic up here. Let's get our mic on here. This is the cable plug in, plug directly into the mic port. Twist and turn, look, it's in there. Now let's connect up to our Sony ZV-E10 mic port, boom, and we're in. So now we are ready to go. And of course the shock mount here helps hugely with all the vibrations, so you're not really going to get any of that mic noise when you're moving about. Not that you should be moving about the Sony ZV-E10 because image stabilization, but anyway. To get the light on here, so the light isn't going to fit here because of the type of mount, but what we need to do is get it on. Remember I spoke about these earlier on, these actual little 1/4-inch tread mounts? Well, I happen to have one of these cold shoe mounts. This part was not sponsored by Small Rig. I happened to buy some of these from my FX3. Didn't need them, but now I do. So what we're going to do is we're just going to get our light on here, and very simple. Screw on these cold shoe mounts to one of those mounting points. Now again, you're not going to need a light all the time, but if you do, this is probably one of the best ways to do it. So let's get our light on here, and there we go. So we're not going to be hand holding this, not like this. So we've got the core of our rig built out now, and just for argument's sake, we can still see our flippy out screen, so we're good to go. So this is a tabletop tripod. That's what it's technically called, but this thing is going to be great if you want to hold it in your hand, you want to stretch it out. I mean, this thing is built, as we saw earlier on, it's built like a tank. The way this works is very simple. It's this Arcus Swiss kind of mount where you twist and turn. So let's get the plate on here real quick. Let's flip the camera, and then we have one of the mounting points that we want to use. So let's find one of these. Make sure this is straight because we want our camera to be straight, right? And tighten this up nice and tight. And then all we gotta do, and this is the cool part, and this makes life so much easier. These little grips here, these little screws, very useful to kind of get a good position. And then we just tighten. Let's get this out on the table, first of all, to give you guys a better idea of, man, these things are so stiff, this ain't going anywhere. So we can loosen our ball head here, and then we can tighten it so it is incredibly stiff, and that ain't moving anywhere. And there's our legs. And then this one here, this thumb screw, it's got a thumb screw, right, is for actually turning the whole camera around. So if you're panning from left to right or whatever you want to do, and if it's tightened, you can't really move it. This is it. This is the ultimate vlogging rig for the Sony ZV-E10. We've got our external mic. We have a light if we want to use it. You can put something else on there if you want. We have our cage, we have the extra grip, and then we have this absolute beast of a tabletop handheld tripod. Now, let's test this out. On shutter priority 1/50 on the Sony ZV-E10 with the small rig, including that microphone. Now, it is pretty windy here, so let's see how all of this sounds. As you can hear, the wind muff is doing its job. Now, I spoke about the top handle that we put onto this as well, and this is one of the advantages. It just allows you to get different angles a lot easier because you can just grip it. Now, quick photo shoot and then some thoughts on the whole build quality of this small rig setup. Yeah, what is it with me and trains? So the overall build quality of this small rig stuff is phenomenal. Now, I know you're watching this going, oh, but Vic, they just gave you all the stuff for free, so you're going to say that. No, I only put stuff on the channel that I really believe in, and if I don't, it's going to be truthful and it's going to get slammed. For me, I've been buying small rig stuff for years, for the ZV-1, for my A6600, for the FX3. This is the first time they've come on as a sponsor, and my opinion has never changed of small rig. Their stuff is incredibly solid, it's incredibly well built, and it's a huge asset to any type of camera, whether it's a Nikon or FX3 or Canon, whatever. Their stuff is very well built, it gives extra functionality. Sure, there's one or two little design quirks at times, but the little features, attention to detail, even with the little thumb screw that's magnetized and wedged in so you can't lose it. It's really, really good. I hope you guys have got some value out of this video. I've left some links in the description if you want to support me and the channel. By all means, click them. But look, here is an option for the Sony ZV-E10 that gives it extra security, extra rigidity, and it's just that bit more kind of confident to hold the camera. This video is something I think you really, really like. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you on the next video. And until then, don't stop fighting for yourself.